Hello friends, and welcome to jwreasoning.com. The reason for this video is to look at the January 2021 Watchtower. It's the study article that's coming up, which will be the first weekend in April. It's this coming weekend at the time that I'm recording this video. Now the reason that I'm looking at this is because I try to keep up with what's going on in the magazines, because I have family, like many of you, that are still Jehovah's Witnesses and they're still in the organization. So because of that, I kind of look ahead just to see what's going on so that I know the information that they're taking in. And in looking through this article, like many of them that I look through, something struck me. Now, if I did a video on every time that something caught my attention, I would just be doing videos every day almost. But I just wanted to comment on this particular article. It's study article number 4, March 29th, 2021 through April 4, 2021. That's the study article week. And it is called Keep Cultivating Tender Affection. Now, a number of things caught my attention in this, but I'm going to focus on one particular paragraph in this article. And it's actually paragraph 15. And as I read through this, just think about what's being said, and I'll comment on it after I read through it. But this really struck me as I read it, looking at it from outside of the organization. Now, if you're still in the organization and you read this, it probably won't have much of an effect on you until I make a couple of comments after the paragraph. Paragraph 15. When we face unexpected trials, Jehovah comforts us through the tender affection and practical help that we receive from our brothers and sisters. Consider what happened to one family after attending the Saturday program at one of the 2019 Love Never Fails international conventions in the United States. We were driving back to our hotel, relates Tanya, mother of 3, when another vehicle lost control and veered into our lane and crashed into us. No one was hurt, but we got out of the car and stood on the freeway, stunned. Someone on the side of the road was waving us over to the safety of his car. It was one of our brothers who had also just left the convention. And he wasn't the only one who stopped. 5 delegates from Sweden also stopped. Sisters gave my daughter and me the warmest hugs, which we desperately needed. I assured them that we would be okay, but they would not leave us. They stayed with us even after the paramedics arrived, and they made sure we had everything we needed. Through every step of this ordeal, we felt Jehovah's love. This experience intensified our love for our brothers and sisters and deepened our love and appreciation for Jehovah. Can you recall a time when you were in need and a fellow believer showed you tender affection? Well, I think this is a great experience. I think this is a nice example of people showing brotherly love, people showing affection, people showing that they care for others who are in distress. But what concerns me about this is most of the brothers and sisters that are sitting in the congregation when they study this lesson this coming Sunday, the first weekend in April 2021, they're going to be sitting there just nodding their heads, and they're going to have all of these comments about, look at the love that these brothers and sisters showed to that sister. And I'm sure the comment's going to come up, they probably didn't even know it was a witness, yet they stopped to help. Well, let me say this. This is propaganda, if you ask me. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the love that those folks showed. I'm not taking anything away from the warmth that we should feel when somebody helps us, whether it's a witness or otherwise. But the problem that I have with this paragraph personally is that it makes it look like this is only in the witness organization. I can give you a personal testimony of something that happened just a few weeks ago. I'm part of a fellowship. I'm part of a non-denominational group of people where we meet together regularly each week. And we were in the middle of prayer. And during that prayer, we heard a terrible noise outside. Well, I happened to turn around, and the young man that runs the audio-video booth back there, he looked at one of the cameras, and he could see that something was amiss outside on the street because one of the cameras happens to catch the street. So during the prayer, I got up, I went outside, and there was a car that was up on the embankment, and it started to roll backward. Well, somebody had come running out of another house, and then someone else had got out of another car and was running toward us, and we were trying to keep that car from hitting a telephone pole and getting out into other people. Well, none of us knew anybody. We didn't know each other. None of these folks were Jehovah's Witnesses, because I know the witnesses in this area. None of them were Jehovah's Witnesses. None of them, nobody knew anyone else, but we were all trying to help. And we could see that the individual in the car something had happened. They had passed out, something had gone wrong. So what do? Well, we couldn't get in the car because the doors were locked. The car was sitting there running, and there was fluid pouring out of the bottom of the car. So I just simply said, we need to get something and break a window. And we found a tire iron next to in the back of a pickup that was right next to us, and somebody busted out the back window so we wouldn't hurt the person. We got in, got the person out, and we helped them. We stayed with them until the paramedics came, until the wrecker came. We asked if there was anything we could do. Is that unusual? Am I special because I was there and I was part of that? Are those people special because they did that? I think this is what people who are human beings do for other human beings, especially when they see them in distress. This is not just what Jehovah's Witnesses do. This is not exclusive to Jehovah's Witnesses, to the organization, for somebody to give someone a hug. I've seen this happen when I've been on the scene, where some lady might be distressed and another lady will come and say, "Are you okay, dear? Is everything all right?" Why the big deal? Why are they selling these things? You know, if we look at the Bible, I get a little worked up about this, because it bothers me that they really believe that they're the only ones that love anybody, that care about anybody. But really, probably what happened is they may have seen the tag and they thought, oh, that's one of our brothers or sisters. Perhaps, and I don't want to impute a wrong motive, but perhaps if they didn't see that badge, they may have kept on going. We don't know. I hope that they would have stopped and helped. The point is, any of us, whether we're a Jehovah's Witness, whether we're a Baptist or a Catholic or a Presbyterian, a Pentecostal, you name it, if we see somebody in distress, what do? 9 times out of 10, we're going to stop and help them. Now, there are some situations that look a little shady. You might be a little afraid. But if you see an accident, if you witness that happening, we're going to stop and we're going to help those people. I see it on the news all of the time, where people dive into a burning car and pull people out. I know we've all seen that. They didn't know the person, but they did this heroic act. And the organization here is treating this as if this is something that is exclusive to the brothers and sisters. Well, you know, the Bible tells us in Leviticus chapter 19 that we're to love our neighbor as ourself. It was telling the nation of Israel that. Love those who are not just yours as yourself. And then in Leviticus 19 and verse 34, the foreigner who resides with you should become to you like a native among you, and you must love him as yourself. For you were foreign residents in the land of Egypt. I am Jehovah your God. And then all of us, every Christian, and even those who are not Christian, know what the golden rule is: to do unto others as you would have them to do to you. And I'm going to read that from Matthew chapter 7 and verse 12. Here's what it says in the New World Translation. All things, therefore, that you want men to do to you, you also must do to them. This, in fact, is what the law and the prophets mean. So you see, without even knowing it, people of the nations, worldly people, as witnesses would call them, will stop and help someone. This is not exclusive just to the organization, but it really bothers me how they twist everything to where, well, this love is only among the brotherhood of Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, I have witnessed this love, this caring, this wanting to help, even a nurturing among people that even atheists, people who witnesses just despise. People that are atheists, just because they don't believe in God doesn't mean they don't love humanity, doesn't mean that they don't want to help you. I know people who have come out of the organization who are atheists that would do anything they could to help you, to free you from the bonds that you feel in the organization, and to help you, even if you want to believe, they're not going to hold that against you. So people are people. And even though we live in even for Christian, we believe that this world is tainted by the devil. I do believe that. I believe that sin is rampant. But even so, it seems like God has created us with this innate desire to want to help people who are in need. It doesn't come just from the organization. It doesn't come just from people who are Christian. It doesn't come just from people who know God. I believe this is part of being made in the image of God, that we have this typical, normal sort of love toward one another. And some of us exercise that more than others. I wanted to do this video, friends, because it bothers me so much that the friends will sit there, the brothers and sisters will sit in the Kingdom Hall, and they'll read this, and they'll take it as, oh, but the world, they just don't do this, they don't have this love among them. When I admit that in the organization there is a certain brotherhood, and part of that goes because we're all oppressed by the same men in New York. But another part of it is that we believe the same things when we're part of the organization. Well, that same type of love can be had outside of the organization within the realm of Christianity, knowing and loving and understanding who God is and who His Son is. And friends, I just hope you continue to study. I wanted to do this video. I'm sorry if it seemed a little bit like a rant, but it bothers me so much when they think that these things are exclusive to them. And I know better. I have experienced love visiting other churches that is actually more genuine and more sincere than I ever received in the Kingdom Hall. And the reason why is because the love that they show me is not because or based on what I think or believe, if I'm not in lockstep unison with their belief structure. And I have friends in many denominations that are Christian. We may disagree on some topics, but it's not going to keep me from loving them or them from loving me. And I don't think that those disagreements will keep us out of the kingdom, so long as we're living up to the light that we have and we're doing the best we can with the information that we're given. So please forgive me if I've ranted a little bit. Sometimes I have to blow off some steam, and I guess this was one of those times. And friends, just keep studying your Bible, keep reading, and remember, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through Him. It's not through an organization, it's not through a man, it's not through a church or a denomination. It's Christ Jesus. That's how we get to the Father. So my prayer is that you'll keep studying, and may Jehovah bless you until we meet again.